Hey everyone, this is Brett Favre, Green Bay Packers Super Bowl champion, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packers content. Go Packers.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_Access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk Packers, here to talk little combine, little draft, maybe a little free agency. We'll see where the show goes. So we are live on YouTube, X, and Rumble. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast over at Packernet Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. How we doing tonight, gents? I know Tim already filled me in, man. He ate way too much pasta, and my man going to struggle to hold his eyes open.
Yeah, man. Great dinner. Shout out to Mrs. G. Thank you so much. I'll try to stay awake tonight.
Hey, do your thing, man. How you doing, Jake?
I'm good. Kind of in the same boat. Food coma. Watched the back half there of the combine. Watched the big boys run. So sure we'll get into it.
It's a lot of fun, wasn't it, man? And who was it that set the record again? I'm sure we'll cover it here in a minute. Somebody set the new 40-yard dash record for offensive lineman, right? Am I thinking right, fellas? You know who that was?
It was Jared Wilson, and then somebody beat him out, I thought.
Is that right?
It's like a 4.84 or something.
It's crazy, dude. That is absolutely nuts, man. Let's waste no time, man. Let's just jump into some of the news from today. As Jaylen Nowell checking all the boxes, obviously at the wide receiver position. As Daniel Jeremiah said, Jaylen Nowell, 23 bench reps, most among wide receivers. He was best or tied best in the bench. Both jumps, had a great field workout, and ran 4.39 with a 6.823 cone and a 4.17 shuttle. So Jaylen Nowell,
best guy around.
He might be the winner of the combine, boys. And I know there's some big boys that ran their butts off as well. But Jaylen Nowell is a very, very interesting prospect, man. There's no doubt about it. The fact that he hit 23 on the bench reps, and we spent most of the morning show talking about him, right? So the Packers have met with him. He's in the 110 spot for us currently with an 86.1 grade. Got the maximum RAS. Dude looks like he's going to be a stud, man. Now, will he last a 110? I highly doubt it after that combine. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't think he did the Packers any favors for improving their chances at getting him. But, Goody has a tendency to make moves. I mean, if he wants them bad enough, I don't see why he can't try and work something out. But that would be a huge, huge reach if he did that. So I think it's, the better combine performance for a player like this, the lower the chances he's going to be on the board when we're going to ideally want to take a guy like that. So fingers crossed, though. You never know. Like I said, he was one of my favorite of the the sub 6 foot receivers for sure, and he's checking all the boxes as we see here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of starts to remind me more and more of Jayden Reed, just his overall size, the way he plays, the way that he can be on the slot, but you definitely can put him out wide, physical, athletic guy. We've talked a ton about Jaden Higgins for a reason, but either one of these Iowa State guys I'd be pretty excited about.
Yeah, Jaylen Nowell is currently in the 82 spot on the PFF big board. I think it was Chris N in the chat asked how tall is he. PFF has him at 5'11". I'm not sure exactly what his measurement was, but somewhere around 5'10" to 6 foot tall. So I believe he settled in at 5'11", but I could be wrong. So Jaylen Nowell definitely a name to keep our eyes on as we get closer to the draft here. You guys know we were talking about the Deebo Samuel trade earlier today, right? And I was trying to put together how in the world are they going to have a $17 million cap hit in Washington acquiring him, right? With there just being salary. And of course, we drew the conclusion of, hey, it looks like the optional aspect of that contract tallies up to make up the difference to enter that $17 million into the salary cap, right? That's exactly what it was. Spot Track clarified earlier. It says, barring a renegotiation, Deebo Samuel will bring a 1-year, $17.55 million contract with him to the Commanders, including $15.4 million in option bonus. That's March 21st. So basically how this works is since it's money that's not paid out yet, it will travel with the player to the new team. So that did get freed up in that regard. So they've got till March 21st to try to rework that deal, maybe lower that number a little bit, but they may just roll with the punches. They're at 17.5. So he said if exercised, Samuel's cap hit for 2025 will be 5.2 million, though they'll carry 12.3 million in voidable dead cap in 2026. So you're kicking 12.3 down the road, which will come due next year, it sounds like. And of course, if you re-sign him to a deal, which I don't know if they would or not, going to be 30 years old, they would be able to extend that out over the life of the rest of the contract if they decided to go that route. So as R.E. Iron Miner says here in the chat, not worth it. Knowing all the details of the contract now, guys, did our opinion change on this trade at all?
No, I don't think so. No.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a guy that, he's hitting that 30 mark, not a team player. He's been used unlike most wide receivers have been used. They've actually forced him to be more of kind of that hybrid running back type role. He's got a lot of wear and tear. Anything over like 10 million. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't want the guy. It's really not even about the money. He's the type of person I don't want on the team, to be honest.
Yeah. And even setting that aside, like you were saying, the age factor too. And even though in this Washington offense, he's probably going to finally get to be more of a receiver as opposed to like you were mentioning, Jacob, being used as a kind of a running back at times, a return guy at times. I think Washington's probably going to just let him be a receiver, these last few years of his career. But I agree with the sentiment that trying to sign him to anything long term is probably foolish at this point.
Yeah, completely agree, man. So again, there's the details on the Deebo Samuel contract as he moves on to Washington. I had a little baseball tweet here earlier. You guys are.
I saw that. That was great. That was brilliant.
It says just a guy with 39 successful combat flight missions on his resume, about to dig in with the machine gunner at Omaha Beach on D-Day behind the plate. 2 damn men is what's in this picture. So you got Yogi Berra behind the plate. He was the machine gunner on D-Day. And, of course, Teddy Williams, was actually a combat pilot who flew 39 successful missions. So that's just back when, and that's all that is. So
I love that, man.
No
that was cool.
Eli Cox, this one, man, I know Jacob's going to get excited about this too. 2 Cox on one team. Let's go. So Eli Cox of Kentucky turned heads earlier today with a 9.97 unofficial, but last I checked, a 9.97 RAS. This dude just absolutely crushed it. A 505 40-yard dash, the 20-yard split was a 238, and the 10-yard split was a 176. His vertical, 32.5. Broad jump, it scored him, what is that, at 8.9, I believe it is, or maybe a 9.9. It's kind of hard to see on my screen. 8.9, I believe it was. His height, 6'4", 308. This is a center. Now, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your rear end. We were not big on him, and I'll explain why real quick. Eli Cox is in the 299 spot for us. Okay, he was the 198th graded at his position in 22, 202 in 23, jumped to 164 in 24. We did not have him on the PFF big board. I'm sure we could gather that information now. The consensus big board had him at 270 at year's end, but he does get the maximum bonus there. So his score is a 203.5, which would kind of you could justify taking him somewhere in the 200 spot. But if we were being completely transparent about our board, he sits in the 299 spot there. I just thought it was interesting. Me being a Kentucky fan, of course, everybody hits me up on Twitter and it's like, Clayton, look at this dude. Who was it, our boy here? Somebody got excited about it. I'm trying to think. Maybe it wasn't on here. Maybe they quote tweeted me or they commented in the other one, I believe it was. But, of course, I said, yeah, we're fired up from the front porch, and I posted that gif of the redneck dancing with the raccoons. So what do you guys think about Eli Cox here, man? He definitely helped himself today. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, I'm going to let Jacob take this one first, for sure.
I mean, right away, I'm pulling for the guy. You know what I mean? Gotta love my Cox. So he's 40. I mean, honestly, all jokes aside, he ran a 5.0240, which is the 92nd percentile. His vert was a 32.5 for a big dude. That was the 92nd percentile. Shuttle and broad were all pretty good. 10-yard split was decent. I don't know a ton about him, to be completely honest, but it looked like he transitioned to center a little bit later in his career. So that could be something worth taking into consideration. But, I still like my guy Jonah from USC, but if the right situation, I'm not going to turn down Cox.
And there you go. I don't know if he meant to do it or not, but Drew D said, I liked what I saw from Cox. It's nice to see center emerging. So there you go. Sure. That wasn't by accident. Tim, you got anything to add to obviously a guy that could be taken there on day 3 or might end up being an undrafted free agent?
Like I'm supposed to follow that, right? Like, I've got anything to add to this conversation.
All right, we'll just move it along. So here's some breaking news. This cracked me up as if this wasn't what was expected all along. Sources, according to Ian Rappaport on X, the Jets are now taking calls on star wide receiver Davante Adams, open to trading him prior to the start of the league year. No surprise with his $38.2 million cap number. If they can't get a deal, they're expected to release Adams, who could rejoin quarterback Aaron Rodgers with a new team. So they're officially taking calls. We will hear the Packers mentioned. I 110% guarantee it. But we've heard the Packers mentioned in every potential trade negotiation, right? They're always in the mix. And
this is Max Crosby all over again.
Andrew Brandt spilled the beans. Obviously, he used to work in the front office for the Packers back in the day. He said, we had GMs call us all the time and agents call us all the time and go, hey, would you mind if we mentioned you in trade negotiation, like trade interest? And like, you mention us, it drives up the price on one of the other 31 teams. Sure, yeah, mention us. That's how that typically works. Now, they could be interested in Tay, and you guys know how I feel about this. For the right price, I'm all about bringing Tay back. There's no reason to try to trade for him, I don't believe, because whatever team does trade for him, obviously they're going to have to renegotiate his contract that's sitting at $38.2 million right now in cap. That'll have to be renegotiated before the trade is put through. So I think there's a better chance he gets cut. If he gets cut and you can get him for, I don't know, $10 to $13 million, I'm all about it. How you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I'm with it. I agree with you 100%. I don't think and it's not a knock or disrespect to Tay at all, but I don't see a scenario where we put a trade package together. I think we're better off trying to get him if he's released, for sure. I agree with that statement.
Yeah, I definitely would. If the money's right, I find it hard to believe I don't see Tay taking 10 to 13 million, which is
Right.
where I'd feel comfortable. I mean, I'd probably go up to like 15, maybe even 16, but I just don't see him taking that big of a pay cut. Because when in his eyes, I think he still thinks that he is a premier wide receiver, and he may be, but he's getting up there.
AFAM says Crosby. I think he spelled it better than anybody has up to this point. That's a good job there, AFAM.
Yeah, that looks accurate for sure.
All right, so there you go with Ian Rappaport reporting on Davante Adams' situation. Let's move it along to another center. Had some info drop earlier today, and I just went ahead and added some of our draft board info. As Math Bomb tweeted out, Jared Wilson, his RAS card of a 9.98, obviously a center out of Georgia. I said the Green Bay Packers recently met with Georgia center Jared Wilson. He currently sits in the 87 spot on our PTA big board. So we've got him in the 87 spot right now, center out of Georgia. If he's sitting there when you pick in round 3, I'd be totally on board with them taking him. I mean, he crushed the combine, everything that he participated in anyway. Anything you guys want to add to the Jared Wilson conversation?
Yeah, I think that he probably is one of those guys that maybe drastically improved his draft stock. He was the fastest. He did have a 4.84 40. I mean, a guy of that size, dude. What is he? 6'3", almost 6'4", 300 plus pounds, running a 4.84 40. And then you watch some of the other drills, what they did, a lot of the pulling drills. He just looked smooth. He looked like he had good hips, good change of direction. He was able to stay low. I mean, he drastically was catapulted up in my mind as far as, because I wasn't really super on board with him. You guys, I still like, obviously I like Jonah and a few other guys that maybe you could get a steal Seth from Ohio State. But I'm starting to think, like you said, if he's around, I don't think he's going to last into the third now. I think he probably got taken in the second, if I had to guess, but who knows?
Yeah. Ron Sample here in the chat said, does a center running a 4.84 improve his draft position? It depends on the team. How many times did we see Josh Myers get to the second level on duo, right? Yeah. How many times did we even see with the pin and pull? There was a couple times he pulled while the guard pinned down, right? He ended up being one of the pullers. That stuff matters in that type of offense. Now, how many teams do that type of stuff? Duo is pretty popular across the league. That's why they like Josh Myers so much, and that's why they gave him every chance to solidify his spot as a starting center on the Green Bay Packers, and it's why for the right price, I think he may be back. I really do, because they're obviously looking for that athletic center that can get to the second level on those type of runs. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. And what do you think, Tim, about, I mean, I personally really like John Runyon Jr. For a lot of different reasons. He obviously could have improved his play on the field, but I thought we maybe cut bait with him a little too soon. And, I don't think we probably wanted to pay him what he obviously got. I think it was from Philly, wherever he went, but that was one where it was, what was that?
The Giants.
The Giants. Yeah, the Giants. And that was one where I kind of like gritted. Well, I was like, I feel like we cut bait on him or gave up on him maybe a little too early. But I honestly wouldn't mind if we kept Myers at this point, just because no matter what we're doing, we're starting over from scratch basically. So, and I've seen probably the best football from Myers as of late. Again, it comes down to the money thing, because I definitely don't want to overpay for. I wouldn't even call him good. I'd call him potentially good.
Yeah, and it could be a thing with Josh where it's like these last few pieces of his game are coming together, and he could be one season away from finally putting everything together. Clayton talks about getting to that next level. We've always said that's never been an issue with Josh. It's what he does when he gets to that level that was the cause for concern. So I think if he puts things together, maybe he does have a good year. Maybe justifies keeping him around. And we're glad that we did. Other than that, there is center talent in this draft class, not a whole ton, but there's some interior O-line versatile guys that, we've talked about could play center, as well as, some of the guard positions. But I think Jared Wilson running, lights out is not just a sign that he's fast, but that he has good feet. And we always talk about, O-linemen playing from the ground up, especially at the center position. So, I think it helped his stock a little bit, at least in that respect, for sure.
Yep. And Chris in the chat says, Goop going to pay Myers. I asked him how much. He said 3 years, $30 million. Whew, man.
For Josh?
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. Yeah. That's his
prediction. I bet you he could get more than that, to be honest.
He probably could on the market. He's that versatile. Versatile. He's that athletic.
Yep.
Right. I think he will have a heavy market. Chris, I want to disagree with you, but when Goody slapped that 5th-year option on Darnell Savage because he's one of his boys, I'm like, man, I can't bet against that. You know what I mean? He loves his dudes. He loves his draft picks. There's no doubt about it. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did that. I hope he doesn't, though. My number's $5 million. That's where I'm at. You can get him back for $5 million, sure. And don't you dare be afraid to take another center in the draft and just say he's our starter. He's our starter. Like, got to get better at the center position.
Yeah,
we can sit there and run it back with the same dude at center and get our ass kicked in the trenches again. And then
draft a rookie, and if you have to, put Elton over there if the wheels fall off, right?
Good point. And then worst case scenario, and again at $5 million, you got a solid backup center. Right, or someone who can step in and the whole thing won't fall apart. You know what I mean?
Right.
And prevent the whole musical chairs for sure. Chris N says, I don't want that, but that's my guess. Yeah, I'm on board with you, man. It wouldn't surprise me, that's for sure. Drew D says, if Myers gets re-signed, he is going to be one of the most hated Packers all year by fans. It's so true.
Well, somebody's got to pick up where Ja left off, right? I mean.
and poor Ja, he helped run Joe Barry out of town. And then he's like, damn, I wish we kept him around. They get off my back now. So, it is funny how the fan base always jumps from one guy to the next. You know what I mean? Not all.
Things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
Not all of the fan base, but, a decent portion of them. Rashawn Gary was that dude for a little bit until people finally started getting their asses handed to them by showing them up, bub. You're not even studying what they're running up front, and he is stout against the run this year. He's down a run, and we got one of the best run defenses in pro football. So it's just they got to hop around. Somebody's got to take the fault, man. Somebody got to take the fault. Coach Lynn says I would not be mad if we kept Myers. So Coach Lynn's on board with the whole Josh Myers returning. And AFAM says Josh Myers is on the all AFAM team.
He's on the really? Yeah, he's no Creed Humphrey though, right? AFAM
and Malik Willis. Malik Willis.
Yeah.
He'll have two centers on the field at once. It'll be Creed Humphrey and Josh Myers with Malik Willis under center. That's the all AFM team.
What Super Bowl was it that we beat the Chiefs? Was that 1 or 2?
That was 2.
Or was it 2? No,
No. Hold up.
I thought it was Super Bowl 1.
That was
Yeah,
one.
I think
You're right.
Adam watches it or Affan watches it and just cries with a Kleenex box next to him and just
Keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys. Badger Trio with the super chat. Way Goody talks. I expect a very active free agency. Hey, it could happen. I'm not as sold on this free agent class. If you guys were watching the show last year at this time, and I know we got a lot of new viewers, new listeners, I was like, man, here's my free agents right here. Here's the guys I want, right? And for the most part, I can't think of one that didn't hit. The main two I was talking about was obviously Xavier McKinney and it was Bobby Wagner. Those were the two that I really wanted.
Bobby Wagner.
And and there was
You guys see that on Twitter today? The clip from when he was with the Rams and he hit the crazy streaker on the field, the guy that was running with the smoke can, and Bobby Wagner put a shoulder check on dude that sent him into the next realm. It was probably one of the best hits of Wagner's career. You guys should check that out. It's floating around out there.
No doubt. Yeah, I agree with Prince here, and thank you for the super chat, Badger Trio. I kind of get the vibe from Goody too that you were just talking about. Prince says free agent is slim pickings compared to last year. It's kind of how I see it too. I'd be okay with Drew Dalman, like I believe it was Daryl mentioned earlier in the chat. I'd be totally on board with them signing Drew Dalman at center. I think that's money well spent if you get him for the right price. That would improve the center position. I would much rather them pay Drew Dalman than pay Josh Myers.
Yeah,
but
that'd be great.
I think it's true because free agency might be slim pickings, but I don't think that necessarily means that a GM in the league isn't going to be aggressive.
Right.
If anything, you could argue you might be more aggressive if there's that small crop of players that everybody kind of wants to get their grubby little hands on. You might have to get a little more aggressive with a slimmer free agent market if that's where you're willing to go, depending on your position and need kind of thing. But I think both can be true, basically, right? You could be active and it could be kind of a weak market. It doesn't mean that certain teams aren't going to be aggressive.
All right. Moving on to the next one. Actually, let me hit the chat here just one more time. Drew D, allegedly we're in the market for O-line, cornerback, and wide receiver. Rob Domofsky said that agents told him we were shopping, found that one out on Ryan's podcast. Good stuff, man. Ryan dropping the gems, the nuggets there. Appreciate you sharing that information, Drew. Didn't work today. I haven't worked in the last few days, so that's when I get my podcast in, so I haven't listened to any podcasts. I'll make sure to try to get caught up on that. So it sounds like Rob Domofsky talking to agents. Goody's looking around, shopping around for offensive line, cornerback, and wide receiver. It makes sense. It really does.
It does. And it doesn't mean we won't still draft players at those position groups either. We can double dip a lot of different ways during this time of year, right?
Yep. White009 says, what about cornerback DJ Reed in free agency? I'm not as big on Reed as most people, but he is on my short list of like 3 or 4 corners that I would be totally on board with the Packers signing. The problem I want to say his market value is showing like $14 million. And I feel like you're overpaying for good there. You're not overpaying for great. Obviously he's a shorter stature dude, but he played pretty good football, so I don't care how tall you are if you're making the plays.
The one thing I like about Reed. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you good?
I was just going to say the one thing I like about DJ Reed is availability. It looks like he's pretty much missed like a handful of games the last, 5 or 6 seasons, and as banged up as the Packers defense has gotten down the stretch. Sometimes it's nice to have somebody that's pretty available and reliable.
Yeah. Definitely. Jacob, remind me again, were you big on Reed? I think it was Emilio was probably the biggest fan of Reed of all of us.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it. I'd rather go through the draft route, to be honest. That's kind of my opinion.
Emilio knows we're talking about DJ Reed, not Ed Reed, right?
I believe so, yeah. Chris in the chat says, I'd rather have Charvarius Ward. Charvarius Ward's very interesting. A little bit older. I want to say he's 29. Had a horrible year last year. We've talked about it, personal reasons, losing a child and all those things. And I think he even battled through some injuries as well. But a couple years before that, man, he was a stud. If he returned to that form, sign me up. That's a guy. If you're getting 2023 Charvarius Ward, I would overpay for that. I would. The question is that what you're getting, right? To be determined. Mario in the chat says, what about Asante Samuel Jr.? He is still young. He was one of those guys that was pretty promising. I want to say did he have a down couple years or something, guys, or something that brought his value down a little bit, I felt like.
Yeah, it's got to.
Man, yeah.
The way I see that, too, is like if Asante Samuel Jr., with him being so young, was so good, why is he a free agent? You know what I mean? Like, you got to ask yourself that. Why didn't his team lock him up? Is it because they had extra depth there? You know? There's got to be.
Only played 4 games last year, right? So
he's coming off an injury, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yep. So another one of those scenarios. Do you want to be the team that is rolling the dice to find out if the player is going to go back to his pre-injury performance level? You know, it's kind of tough.
Right. Daryl says Asante Samuel Jr. 5'10", 194 is what he's listed at. Badger Trio, I wonder what we get for Alexander. First, we were told no more than a fifth. Story came out. He was asking a second. Probably somewhere in between if he is traded, right? A third or a fourth round pick. Probably be in the ballpark there, I would imagine. So we'll see. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if he stays on the team too. You know, they're shopping him, that's for sure. As Chris M points out here, Cowboys are also shopping Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs had a good run there for a few years. I don't know what he's done recently. I don't know what the cap ramifications would be in that kind of trade there as well, or what the compensation would even be. But another player that a couple years ago, like Jair, stud, you know. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, teams are looking to get rid of him. So, all right, back to the combine there. You guys keep the comments and the questions coming. We'll try to fire them in as we can. Boston College offensive tackle Ozzie Trapillo recently met with the Green Bay Packers. He currently sits in the 83 spot on our PTA big board. Math Bomb put out his RAS card of a 9 flat there. So obviously he scored pretty well, 139 out of 1,379 offensive tackles from 1987 to 2025. So, anytime you're flirting with the top 100 ranking of athleticism in the last however many years that is, what would that be, guys? 40 years? Says something about the athletic traits, and we know Goody loves his athletic traits. Obviously, he's on the radar. They already met with him. Like I said, he's sitting in the 83 spot for us. If he's there, I'd be all right with it. You know, if let's say if he falls to us at pick 87, that would make sense. You know, it kind of feels like it's in that range right there for Goody to potentially grab him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, talk about a giant of a man too. They've got him listed. I mean, geez, dude. Even if that's
6'8",
incorrect,
309,
6'8", 309. He ran a 5.21 40, which again at that size, I mean, that's like a 4.4. You know what I mean?
It's like a semi truck coming at you.
That is kind of scary, to be honest. Would that have been a guy that was around with Hafley as well? Obviously on the different side of the ball, but
I would say there's a good chance. Yeah, there's a good chance. Half was there for like 3 years, right? Am I thinking right?
So,
yeah. So 2022, he would have played with him, right?
Definitely would have. I'm almost positive. Yeah. So, William in the chat. Hey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. He says, hello, PTA Posse. Got a question for y'all. Do you guys know if this year's draft, if there is a John Kuhn type player in the draft? And if so, who? Also, do you ever see the Packers use fullback like we used to? I have heard nothing about fullbacks this year. I don't know about you guys. Fullback is definitely one of those positions. If it wasn't for Kyle Shanahan, it'd probably already be out of the league. You know?
Yeah.
Obviously, they got away from it for a little bit when the spread took over the NFL, albeit Mike McCarthy in Green Bay was running a spread offense, that West Coast spread, and he's the one who utilized the fullback as much as anybody. You know?
Yeah, I think the Packers were one of those last kind of few handful of teams that still had utilized the fullback position, but
I want to say Miami too. I could be wrong, but I think Miami's using fullback a little bit too. So
okay.
But
I agree. I don't think we're ever going to see another John Kuhn.
Yeah,
it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
And I just checked PFF by position. Yeah, there is not a single fullback on the big board at all.
There you go.
At least nobody listed as one.
This is the first person I thought of too, Dave Fish, was Scatterbo. Yeah, but I don't know. Do you think he's more of a fullback than a halfback, Jacob? I don't know if it's just the way he plays.
Man. I mean, yeah, the guy's a very skilled player. very good at breaking tackles. I think he's decent with his hands. He had a 39.5-inch vert. I mean, that's an athlete. I think he'd be more, if he is going to be categorized into that mold, he's definitely the use check type, where it's like the dude, you can split him in the slot. Like you can set him on passing routes. He can, very athletic. I wouldn't limit him to just a fullback for sure.
Yeah, me neither, man.
Respect Orange says fullbacks are now an endangered species, like FM's clean underwear.
Burn.
Hey,
Burn.
wears those
Roasted.
underwears 3 days in a row, and then he turns them inside out for the next 3. You know what I mean? That's how he goes.
Easy
Kid,
living.
Those are his lucky Chiefs draws there that he's wearing.
that's right. I bet he's got Cheeto stains on the hip too, where he's just wiping his hands right on the hip. You know what I mean? You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, Math Bomb put a tweet out of Tyler Booker, who looks like he absolutely bombed at the combine. You guys know Tyler Booker is projected as a first-round pick out of Bama, offensive guard. He said it's been several years since we had a first-round pick with an RAS under 5. Booker is close enough he could jump back over with a good enough bench or agilities. Otherwise, we might get our first sub-5 RAS first rounder since 2019. So if his bench is good enough, he might be able to climb back over that. And we may have an update by now. I tweeted this out way earlier today, but I thought that was interesting that, someone like Math Bomb here on Twitter, I think he would call it out if it wasn't possible. And the fact that he's still thinking, man, he might still get drafted in the first round, even with a 5 flat. That's wild to think about. It really is. And trying to think of where we have him. Tyler Booker was fairly high on our board. Where do we have Tyler? Maybe he fell. Maybe he did fall a little bit. Let's see here. Tyler Booker. Now we got him in the 34 spot with a 0 RAS bonus as it sits right now. Daniel Jeremiah has him in the 14 spot. So Dane Brugler's got him at 18 as well. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, DraftBuzz has him.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, DraftBuzz has him ranked as their number 1 guard overall. I just for whatever reason I haven't been very high on him. He definitely. This is one of those rare situations where, Clayton's we've talked about how the draft is kind of doesn't really do much for about 90% of the players, but for that 10%, it either swings drastically favorably or unfavorably. I think this dude is unfortunately probably going to be one where he might get pushed to a day 2 pick off of this performance.
Yeah, I think his size and weight, or height and weight measurables, and then, I mean, he's going to be 21 in like a couple months. I mean, those are positives going for him. So, still a young guy. Maybe you can mold him, but I think you're right. I think he might have put himself out of the first round for sure. Although PFF's, again, 190th out of 639 guards, and they still have him 48th overall. So
I don't get that.
It's crazy. And they had him 66 when I took the information down to him. So,
wow.
33rd team had him 27th. Daniel Jeremiah 14th. Dane Brugler 18 is where they've got him at. So,
can I ask a quick question of you, Clayton? A guy that I was watching who didn't run the 40, but apparently, they were talking this guy up like he was one of the most athletic linemen in the whole draft. It was Marcus Bowe. They spell it with an M, MBO. He's from Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's just Bowe, no M. The
you
M
don't pronounce it. The M is silent. I'm sorry.
Pam. All right.
I thought you were gonna say the Livingston Gould. No Livingston? no Gould. What was it? It was no Gould.
No Gould. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I just he looked really, really smooth. Apparently I think he may be coming off of some sort of injury, and that's why he didn't want to tweak it again. I think that he maybe got it like the Senior Bowl or something like that. Yeah, Drew D brought up a good point too. He did he grew up in Milwaukee apparently. And then ended up being a trader and went to Purdue. But other than that, I like the guy a lot.
Where's he supposed to play football in Milwaukee?
It's Milwaukee, Tim. You know that.
Milwaukee. Yeah, we've got him in the 68 spot is where we've got Bowe.
Okay.
Offensive tackle out of Purdue. Like you said, he was in the Senior Bowl. The big thing that's hurting him is his PFF grade. In 2024, he was the 107th graded tackle. He was 133rd the year before. Other than that, the PFF Big Board had him at 78 at years in. Consensus Big Board had him at 49. Daniel Jeremiah had him 47. 33rd team has him 64. Dane Brugler has him 66. So I feel pretty comfortable where we got him. There's several people that see him right around that same spot there. So we got him, like I said, 68. if he's sitting there when you pick in the third round at pick 87, that's a steal, right? If you try to take him in round 2, probably quite a bit of a reach there.
Man, I'm not gonna say no to a Milwaukee kid being a Packer. Come on now.
I know you ain't.
Close as a guy like me is gonna get, man. I gotta live vicariously through these kids now.
That's it, man. Welcome to old age, Tim. You've made it, sir. You have made
I
it.
made it. Mama, I made it.
This is just wild to think about these offensive linemen, man. Will Campbell, offensive lineman out of LSU. And by the way, let me see where we got him at. We've got Will Campbell with his RAS added into the system. He's now the 5th best prospect. He's this close to cracking in to being the only tier 2 player on our board as it sits right now. He's got his scores of 10 flat. If he just had 1/10 of a point better, at a 9.9, that would put him in that next tier up. But guys, he cracked 20.05 miles per hour running his 40 today.
Good Lord.
How? Somebody explain that crap to me. How about
Somebody come look at this.
seriously, how does somebody that big run 20 miles an hour? That's just wild to think about. So
Balance.
And
Sheer
he was
athletic ability.
Yeah, he was one of those linemen that you watched, and it looked actually kind of pretty smooth. Like a lot of those guys, you really see that they're throwing around their body weight, and it looks uncomfortable to watch them run. Where you're like, that person's not made to do that. You make them stop that. But with Campbell, it just looked smooth. It almost looked like he could have even maybe churned a little harder. Like it was almost effortless. You know what I mean? So that the same way that with Jared Wilson, the way he ran, he had a very smooth stride. Didn't look like he was forcing it. But yeah, a lot of these guys, they run like Phoebe from Friends. If you ever seen that,
it's fun. Yeah. Like Jack Sparrow, right?
Yes, exactly.
Daryl in the chat said it's all in the legs and the calves, just like Jacob at work. It's all in the legs and the calves, right?
I disagree. Just like Chubb said, it's all in the hips. Yeah,
it's all in the hips.
You guys are
stole that bastard's eye.
Oh my God.
Got to watch that sequel. Is it out yet? When's it coming out, boys? Did we get a date on that yet?
Yeah.
I'm all about that. I'm all about some Adam Sandler, man.
I'll look it up. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Appreciate that. Man. Such a team.
Little old lineman talk. Just a little old line talk.
Little coffee talk.
Can we talk about the tackle from Missouri?
Yeah.
The other Membao, is that how you say it? Armand Membao?
I think we're gonna get to Membo. Hold on a minute. No, we are not. Yeah, Tim, fire away. Is that
wondering if Jacob's got anything on him because I didn't get to watch the combine today.
Bro, so talk about a guy that looks smooth for how massive he is. He ran a 4.91, I believe. So everybody thought that he was gonna steal it, and then Jared Wilson came in and took it with the light. And he could have ran twice, but he didn't. He got the call from the agent. It was like, "Yo, lock it up, big boy. You ain't."
And
doing
here I am
else.
hoping the guy was gonna fall in the draft, and maybe we could.
Tim,
snag him. I don't think it's gonna happen.
No. I got him in the 9 spot now, bro. That's not looking good. I mean, I think it was he the one that was running 2, and every 10 yards he go, "Ah!"
Yes. Yeah. It was battle war cries. It was
I think Daniel Jeremiah, the 2 most Caucasian people on the face of the earth was Daniel Jeremiah and Rich Eisen in the booth, and they said sounded very primal there. That was awesome. But yeah,
I know some people don't like him, but I think Rich Eisen's hilarious. Like his humor is very dry, and he does a lot of movie quotes, and he's kind of just a dork, but I like it.
I think he's been consistent too throughout his career.
Consistently dorky.
Same guy he's always been. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I used to listen to him every single day. Loved Rich Eisen's show, but he started getting really political in 2016, I think it was. I'm like, man, I just can't listen to it. I get enough of this on my Facebook feed and everything. Everybody's just cramming politics down your throat. I'm tuning in to listen to ball, and it drove me crazy. So I just kind of got turned off by him, to be honest with you. But it is cool to see him and McAfee kind of bond the way they have Pat McAfee, because Pat's on the opposite end of the spectrum of Rich, and if they can kind of put the swords down and put out good content, and anytime one or the other interviews each other, it's really, really good content. So I need to give it a try again. Maybe he's gotten away from that quite a bit. So I know during the COVID situation, he was pretty aggravated and upset with the fact that there was a lot of misinformation out there around how people were or were not actually protected. So maybe he did change his stance on some things in that regard. Anytime people side with truth, I can't disagree with them. That's all I want. I just want people to be honest, about anything. So I need to give him another shot because, like you said, Jacob, they were damn good in there in the booth together for the combine. He's very, very good at what he does. There's no doubt about that. So,
Yep.
Couple questions in the chat real quick. Badger Trio, or comments, I should say. Ashton Gianti already announced he will be in the green room in Green Bay for draft. Excited to see the full list of players that come to town. That's a great point. Haven't even thought about that. But Ashton Gianti, man, if he makes it out of the top 10, somebody's getting a steal. What I'm scared to death is the Chicago Bears get him at 10.
That
would really suck.
God, dude, I will. I'll leave the stream for a while if that happens.
I can't wait to see.
It'll
Jacob,
be
Come on,
spinning
guys.
chair.
The Bears will find a way to piss away their draft pick on a
That's
kicker
true.
or something. It'll
That's
be
true.
fine.
Drew D says Drew Kendall had a great day. Does anybody have his information?
Yeah,
I'll pull
Boston
him up.
College Center, another guy that I really, really like. Could be a later guy. I saw a comment from Coach Len when we were talking about what it would take to get rid of Josh Myers, and I know Coach Len said that he'd probably be okay with him staying, and he listed the reason. It's hard to find a guy with that size at the center position. That's why I like Jonah Moynihan. He's 6'5", and I believe Drew Kendall is at least 6'3", if not even bigger.
6'4". Yep.
I was going to say 6'4", 6'5". So I love Drew Kendall personally, and again, a Boston College guy. And looks like he performed pretty well today.
Yeah. One of the handful of like true pure centers in the draft for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
He ran a 5.05 42. So the guy's got a little bit of wheels underneath him as well.
Do we have an RAS? When I checked, it was incomplete earlier. Do y'all have? If you don't, it's okay. Because we don't have his RAS bonus in there yet, and he's sitting in the 180 spot. It's not going to move him a whole lot, but it will jump up. If he gets a 5, then that will put him up probably to around the 175 spot. That's where we've got him right now. The main thing that's bringing him down is he was 232 on the big board, on the PFF big board. He was 220 on the consensus big board. The thing that's helping him, though, he was the 12th highest graded center in college football. So obviously PFF thought very highly of him with the grade, but not for the initial draft board. So we'll keep an eye on Drew Kendall. Appreciate you bringing him up there. Drew D, you are the man. All right, so I want to play this little clip. Obviously, we've been talking about quarterback and in free agency. Listen, we're about to shift gears, guys. Tomorrow is the final day of the combine, right? I think the offensive linemen are going to do their bench press tomorrow, and then it's wrapped up, and we're literally 7 days away from free agency. So we're going to jump right into free agency frenzy. It's going to be an absolute blast. If I can make it work with my schedule, I would love to be home on March 10th in case the Packers make a signing like they did last year. If you guys remember, we went live on demand as soon as a signing got made. I don't know if I can make it happen this year. I'm going to try my best. But if we can, I think that would be a lot of fun to do. But anyway, quarterback's obviously going to steer this ship. So let's pull this up here. Thank you so much. This is Ian Rappaport earlier today. It's about a minute long, and it's him just talking about setting the table. He says, setting the table for a wild few weeks in the quarterback carousel and explaining why the Giants looking into Aaron Rodgers makes a ton of sense. Here we go.
Yeah, I was actually at dinner last night at St. Elmo's, ran into Will Campbell's parents. I was explaining to them how to ignore all the mock drafts. Just focus on the process. No offense, guys. I love all of your mock drafts.
Ian, you're going to get that head smoke talking about our mock drafts.
I want to turn the attention to the guys that these players block for, the quarterbacks. And obviously one of the biggest stories this week was Matthew Stafford staying with the Los Angeles Rams, which of course had ramifications all around the league. It means Aaron Rodgers, who did view the Rams as a prime location, still needs work, still does want to play, and the New York Giants are looking into Aaron Rodgers as they are for all of the veteran quarterbacks available. And I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if the Giants either trade up to 1 or draft a quarterback at 3. The union between Rodgers and the Giants does make some sense. Let me explain why. Either way, if they draft a quarterback at 1 or 3 or wherever they end up drafting, they probably need some sort of a bridge starter. Aaron Rodgers, is going to have a little chip on his shoulder, wants to prove everyone right, wants to show that he's still got it, still does want to play. If he could do it in the same city as he was with the Jets, obviously that would be something that he would like. Plus, anytime You draft a quarterback, then have a bridge starter playing. You say, oh, when's the rookie going to play? When's the rookie going to play? When you have a first ballot Hall of Famer like Aaron Rodgers starting, that avoids a lot of that conversation. The Giants are looking into it, but certainly something to keep an eye on.
All right, so there you go. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers and the Giants are contemplating whether they want to get together here for a little fling and make a run at it for a year or two to bridge the gap for a rookie quarterback. I thought that was interesting. And too old for this kind of hit the nail on the head. He said, please explain to me how playing for the Giants would be better than retirement. It's hilarious. Listen, nobody can question Aaron Rodgers' love for the game.
Yep.
That dude's got more money than Jesus himself. He can go do anything he wanted to do on the face of the earth, and he still wants to play football. And like too old for this says, for a sucky team in a market where they're going to badger the hell out of him if he isn't perfect,
That would be crazy, right? It's like taking one foot out of one dumpster fire, stepping into the other dumpster fire. He wouldn't have to move, right?
I was going to say.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, not much of a move for him, switching facilities. That's about it, right?
To be honest, I could totally see Rodgers. I could see his mind switching to that. Okay, I can't necessarily make a comeback in New York with the Jets like I wanted to and prove them wrong. Like Tim just said, I'll just step over into this other dumpster fire and I'll just go ahead and just beat the crap out of New York that way and have the same media report with a different color on and get his revenge tour that way. I mean,
there could be logic to him maybe wanting to come back into the NFC as well. And maybe he wants out of the AFC after a couple of a season, basically.
Could be.
Yeah.
I know you guys don't want to see this, but I think it would be awesome if he plays for a team that somehow plays at Lambeau this year.
Clayton.
Back
What are you doing?
Lambeau. That would be awesome, dude. Put him on his ass one last time, then go, hey, as he's laying there on the turf looking up at that scoreboard, go, yeah, your number's going to go up there. I don't know why you're doing this, but your number's going to go up.
I saw
Jacob's
some rumors
over there right now. I can read your mind, Jacob. You're already going.
Put that name in my mouth right there. Football says, do the Giants play Green Bay? Is that true?
I don't know.
Are they on our opponents list? Let's see.
I don't know.
We
Look
gotta
it up,
find-
Tim. A little fact check on the fly there.
Yeah.
I also saw some rumors that New Orleans possibly could not have a great relationship with David Carr or Derek, whatever that one it is. And if he were to leave,
Yes,
Rodgers.
boys.
Yeah.
Yes. It
Yes,
is a road.
Queen.
Not a road
Yes,
game.
Queen.
No, it's a road game. So
Is it really?
yeah, we'd have to go out to Jersey, if we wanted
Go out there and
we
play
wanna
on
see
there.
it. Yep.
I don't know why. I just thought Jersey Mike, and then immediately Prison Mike pops in my head.
Hey, that's the way we talk in the clink.
Come on,
Don't
push
drop
you
the
up
soap.
against the wall.
Don't drop the soap.
No.
Don't drop the
The
soap.
toughest thing was the Dementors. The Dementors.
You can eat your own hair.
So this cracked me up.
Oh.
Of course, we've talked a lot about DK Metcalf, right? And the trade and this and that. And we kind of debunked it pretty quick. Now, listen, it could still happen. There's a 0.5% chance it could happen, right? Just like the kid and Angels in the outfield, you know what I'm talking about? It could happen. You guys
I
seen
love that movie. That movie's so good. Watch it
So
again. Every single actor in the history of the world is in that movie.
Damn. There's a lot of people in that
There's
film.
so many people in that movie.
Matthew McConaughey was in it, was he not?
Yeah, dude. Name a player. He's in that movie.
By the way, I'm a nerd. You know this.
No.
I love the old school unsolved mysteries, the stuff we grew up to. You know
Oh
what I'm talking
yeah,
about, Tim?
Robert Stack, baby. Let's go.
Watching one the other day. Guess who popped up on one? Matthew McConaughey. He's mowing
All right.
mowing a yard with his shirt off, and I was like, of course he's got his shirt off. I mean, Matthew McConaughey's not going to do anything with his shirt on.
He was covering for Jacob at the Oval Office. That's what it was.
That's
He had
exactly
a
what it
shift to get to.
If you go YouTube and search Matthew McConaughey Unsolved Mysteries, it'll pop up. It's like a 4 or 5 minute clip in an episode. I'll be damned. He's everywhere. I was eating chocolate covered popcorn in the bed one night. I'm wondering why I got this double chin. And, I was like, there's Matthew McConaughey.
All right, hold on. Just listen to this
Hey,
cast.
I'm talking about something important here. What's wrong?
I'm just saying, Danny Glover, Tony Danza, Christopher Lloyd, Jay Sanders, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Neil McDonough, Adrian Brody, Tim Conlon, Matthew McConaughey, Dermot Mulroney. I mean, come on. That's insane.
I forgot that
A whole lot of A, B, and C listers there.
Hey.
There you go. So
Dare you,
anyway,
sir.
our boy Corbin K. Smith returned today And I had to hit him with one of these, right? Like, oh, look how surprised we are, surprise, surprise. He says 2 other teams that I've been told are monitoring that. Now we're monitoring the DK Metcalf situation are the Bills and the Chiefs. Right now, the consensus is the Seahawks aren't looking to make a deal and still would like to extend the star receiver. But several teams are keeping tabs in case the door opens to acquire him.
Look what
Remember how we
Derek
used to
said.
say that the weatherman had the best job because you could be wrong, half the time and still keep your job? It's like I'm beginning to think maybe covering this league on a more full-time basis might be the job, because apparently you just say whatever the hell you want and people still listen to you.
Derek Shaw, like you said, Jacob, this is the perfect. He said, "Why are we still going?"
That's what I was going to say. When it says, "Why are you still going?" And he responds back. Ooh.
Corbin comes back and says, "The fact that you think I've reported any of this because I'm anti-DK is asinine."
Nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
You said that. Nobody said that.
I didn't steal the cookie out of the jar at 2:30 a.m. last night. You know what I mean? It says, there's been several players who were either traded or cut that I would have loved not to have to report on it. That's the business. We appreciate you doing the hard work there. Now, listen, if for some reason DK Metcalf gets dealt, and if for some reason he gets traded to the Packers, I'm going to invite Corbin on the show, and I'm going to say, dunk on us because you've earned it. He's kind of sticking with the guns, or at least hanging on to them, I guess you could say. I said guns on YouTube. This ain't good. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, well. There you go, guys. We'll see you on Rumble. All right.
Secrets.
That's how that YouTube works.
Secrets hurt someone.
So anyway, Corbin K. Smith, we'll see what happens, everybody. We'll see what happens. On to Jared Wilson. We already talked a little bit about him, right?
Mhm.
So he topped out at 21.04 miles per hour running his 40-yard dash.
Whoa.
So these centers, there's a trend in the league, man. They're getting more and more athletic. There's no doubt about it. Pretty wild.
Bigger and more athletic and faster. Crazy.
So, anyway, we'll see what happens with Jared Wilson. We kind of talked about him a little bit already, and we are up to date. So we got it. We got through all the information. So, fellas, anything else you want to hit on before we wrap up here? We are at 52-minute mark. Go ahead, Jake. No rush either. If you guys want to talk, we'll talk for a while.
I was going to ask you to bring up a prospect that I came across today, and I have not seen anybody talk about him. His name is Ajani Cornelius. Wonderful name, first of all.
That's a birth control name right there.
PFF has him, the right tackle from Oregon, ranked 194 at the PFF ranking. Interesting guy. In 2022, on over 700 snaps, he was the 5th overall tackle with a 90.1 grade. 2023 regressed back to the 34th overall tackle with a 77.9, and this last year with over 900 snaps, settled in at a 74.2. 6'5", 315. Played for obviously a pretty high competitive school there. What do you guys think about that? Almost strictly as a right tackle. He played like multiple ones. He played left tackle once, left guard twice, right guard once. Other than that, almost 2,500 snaps at right tackle.
Got it.
6'5", 315.
Yeah.
It's going to be 23 pretty soon, though. I don't know.
I love that you guys call it Oregon, and my whole life we've called it Oregon. Oregon?
It's Oregon. It's not Oregon.
Oh,
Oregon, potato.
I thought you both just said it. You both didn't just say it?
No, Oregon.
All right. This water's getting to me tonight. There's something in the pipe.
Crackhead. You just hold to the wrong stuff.
Could be, Tim. It could be. So we've got Cornelius here. Sounds like he's the senior advisor at the science fair or something. 99th on the big board. Like Jacob said, he did regress all 3 years according to PFF, but still comes in at the 99 spot for us. PFF big board had him at 165 at the end of the year. That's the main thing that's bringing him down. So maybe once he hits the 33rd team, or Dane Brugler or Daniel Jeremiah's top 150, he may be able to climb up a little bit more. Who knows? So here we go. Love and Football said it's Oregon when you say Oregon Trail.
No. You just put it's Oregon. like the Oregon Trail.
You
Remember
just said it differently back to back.
you died of dysentery, and that's when I first got in trouble. When you die, you'd leave something on your tombstone, and I'd always write like the F word or something,
No, not you. You were a good kid, right?
Telling about it. Just
You know what I want on my tombstone when I kick the bucket? Finally, I get a break. That's what I want. That's it. Just give me that dirt nap. I'm ready for it. You know what I mean? Trudy says Clayton's high off a T-liter of Mountain Dew.
Oh man, talk about when we gotta bring back. We might have to go to the archive, Clay.
May have to, man. Look at this. 2-0 for this. Says, don't watch that Leprechaun clip while you're actively drinking something. That's fact. That sketch gets me every time.
Dude,
We got an amateur sketch. Hell, I hope it ain't a professional one. My God.
yeah.
Look like a 7-year-old drew it. So, anyway,
I love it.
what else we got here? Anybody else, Jacob? You mentioned Cornelius, right? So we covered him. He's a top 100 prospect for us. If he's there in the third round, take him. I'm all right with it. And what I was going to say is Oregon,
Nice.
Oregon, they're pumping out some athletes, man. Some big boys too. Derek Harmon, all these offensive linemen. It seems like they've really got that they've got that program humming. Now, obviously, they beat Ohio State in the regular season, and Ohio State just beat the brakes off of them in the playoffs. But I think that's going to be a fun rivalry moving forward in the Big Ten, Oregon and Ohio State. That's going to be a blast. So, all right. Anything else? I like what Deadfish said here. He said when he kicks the bucket, he's going to hang out with Jesus. Amen to that.
Amen to that.
I hope I make the cut. I always say that I'm going to try to sneak in behind Mandy. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like, she's
like
definitely she's
the
amazing.
Little Rascals with a large trench coat. Just ooh, here we go.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think so, man.
He-Man Woman Haters Club. By the way, what a movie that is.
That
That's
is a great movie as well. Yep.
The 90s, I'm telling you guys, and I used to hear people talk about this when I was a kid, about the 80s and the 70s, but if you go pick up some of these 90s movies, if y'all are young, if you're under the age of 25 and hearing my voice, you probably stop watching us, to be honest with you. If you're still watching The Sandlot, right?
Oh yeah.
Little Rascals, Little Giants. I mean, there's
Little
so
Giants.
many, man. Rookie of the Year. We were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about Angels in the Outfield.
The
Like,
Mighty Ducks.
oh my
Oh,
God,
yeah.
Mighty Duck. Listen, we were broke as hell, right? And I literally got my dad to screw together 3 pieces of plywood to make me a goal. And we were out there in tennis shoes and with a tennis ball, right? Just normal shoes, sneakers with a tennis ball and a makeshift hockey stick because of the Mighty Ducks. That movie was fire. Gordon Bombay.
Yeah, man. Legendary. Legendary.
Yeah, I actually just watched an article about why 90s movies were so great. Is because you didn't have to have a multi-trillion-dollar budget. It had based a lot on the writing, and you had good actors back in the day that were willing to take roles that weren't like these. They didn't force you to do big budget Marvel movies every freaking 2-3 years. It was really good writing, good actors, short budgets, good stories, feel good stuff. They just don't do that anymore.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yeah, another one that just came to mind. Dennis the Menace. You kidding me?
Oh, bruh, that's a great movie. Christopher Lloyd once again.
Yeah. What you there,
Walter
sport?
Matthau. Oh my God, I love that
What you
movie.
eating there, sport? That little kid cross-eyed went, apple.
Yes, sir.
Man, I might have to watch that tonight. You
That's
kidding
like
me?
I'm gonna watch that. It's a really good movie. Lincoln, Blinken, and Nod.
Chuck Jaggers, Air Bud. Let's go. Let's
Oh,
get it.
good. There
Everybody.
you go.
Oh,
Look, 2-0 for this. How have you not mentioned Goonies?
So was
Hey,
the
they're doing a
80s,
sequel to-
man.
Doing
yeah,
a sequel
Goonies
to
was
Goonies.
80s.
But they're doing a sequel to Goonies, so look for that.
Oh, great.
Anybody else? Uh-oh, people laughing at Orange. What did he say? Respect Orange says when AFAM passes away, he's going to haunt the men's room at highway restroom stops. You're going to be in there like, you're working with her, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah.
So
That's
anyway,
terrible.
this show sucks. It is terrible. Tim, you got anything else? Bring us home here, bub.
I don't know. We got anything in the chat, or are we scared to go?
We need to stay away from the chat. I do agree with Jake G126 here, though, when he says, God bless the truckers. Amen.
Amen to that.
Truckers do, keeping this country going. What were you going to hit? Somebody clicked on something there.
Yeah, too old for this. Earlier asked who the which teams play at Lambeau this year. I still had it pulled up. So other than those 3 bums in our division, we've got Philly, Washington, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Carolina all coming to Lambeau. Unless, of course, we get an international game and lose a home game or something. But fingers crossed that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah. United Bates says Kingpin. Man, that
Oh
Como,
yeah, let's go. Big
all-
Lebowski. Come on, let's go. Now we're talking. Let's talk some movies.
Bates the winner. I agree, Prince. Yeah, if you guys have not seen Kingpin, my gosh,
Some of Woody Harrelson's best work,
Yeah.
right?
That is a good movie.
Bill Murray and that
And
Como,
Bill Murray's, yeah.
that Como.
Did you hear about that scene at the end when he bowled the 3 strikes in a row and to win it? That he actually did that, and that was the genuine reaction on the set. He actually rolled those 3, and the crew and everyone was going nuts because it actually happened.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
That's awesome. All right, yeah, the viewers are dropping like flies here, so we're going to go ahead and get out. Hey, thanks to everybody who hung out with us tonight. Badger Trio, thank you for the dono there, the super chat. We appreciate you, buddy. Everybody hit like for us. Go ahead, Jacob. What you got, man?
Did we have any updates on the winner of our Pinky Wheel?
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. We have not heard from Jordan Taylor. Jordan Taylor, if you hear my voice here, I'm going to go comb through Patreon and see if he's still a Patreon member or if he was a YouTube member. But Jordan Taylor, you are the winner of the autographed Lucas Van Ness jersey. If we don't hear from him, Harry Cheese has already come forward, so it'll be his. He was the second place winner, so there you go.
Oh, boy.
What is this right here? Let's see. We got a couple other comments. 2-0 for this, which okay, we hit that one, right? Jake G126. Let's think about Malik Neighbors' fantasy numbers with Rodgers. That's a good point, man. Malik Neighbors is a stud. And Jake G126. Clayton, is there a place I can see your draft board? Is it on Patreon? It is. What I'm going to do is get Emilio to get an updated version to you guys here in the next day or two. But if you comb through, you should see it in the, I think it's the general chat maybe. Help them out in there, guys, if you don't care. If anybody knows where it's at in there, if you want to share the link itself. Emilio was kind of handling that for me. So I'm sure I'll screw it up somehow, some way. But if you guys want to join the Patreon group, get access to the draft board, all that good stuff, scan the QR code in the upper right. That'll send you to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. If you're a member of one of the 3 tiers, you get access to all the chats. You also get yourself entered into the giveaways. And we're going to have a draft contest as well, mock draft contest, where the week of the draft, everyone's going to submit one mock draft that they think will be the closest to what the Packers do, a 7-round mock. Whoever gets the closest on it, then they're going to win a autographed piece of memorabilia there as well. So, again, Jake, ask somebody in the chat if you're in the Patreon group. Tag somebody, tag anybody. Just say, hey guys, can someone share the latest link to the PTA big board? And if I don't hear from anybody in there doing that, then I'll get you a copy of it. Matter of fact, I could probably get Emilio to do it tonight. I'm sure he's not doing anything other than his whitey toddies watching the Flintstones or something. So, but all right, that's it, guys. Appreciate y'all. Jacob, Tim, thank y'all for your time. Larry, thanks, Siskel and Ebert. Yeah. More like Jarvis and Jethro, right? So
Here's some guys.
Jacob, are you available in the morning, or you got plans?
Nah, I gotta go to work.
Unbelievable. There may be a morning show. Let me check with the wife. I know Tim's out in the morning, so I'll be flying solo, and it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to let the voice heal up another day here. So we'll definitely be live tomorrow night, though, 7 p.m. Central. Thanks, everybody. It's a lot of fun. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye, guys.